Hello, welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to explain you how to set up master slave connection for Jenkins and what are the best possible ways. So before jumping into the explanation, let me put the list of concepts that I'm going to explain you on today. So initially I will start with what is agent, and next I will explain you what are the prerequisites needed for agent to get connection to master, and finally I will show you how to set up a Jenkins agent over SSH. Now let's get started. So Jenkins Master Slave or Master Agent Setup. Hold on. So before moving into the explanation, so let me share you a small principle, that is RAN principle. So what is this RAN principle? So R for read, A for analyze, and N for note. So when you start working on a new concept or new tool, anything, so please do read about the tool, how it works, and read about the commands it provides, and then try to analyze them so that it will be easy for you to understand and you can easily work on them practically. And finally, note means please take a note of each and every step or each and every command you execute so that it will be a reference for your future. So it's a very simple principle, please to follow if you like it. Okay, let's get started. So what is an agent? An agent is typically a machine or container which connects to a master and executes tasks when directed by master. So what does it mean? So agent is like a supporting resource for Jenkins master which shares the load such as CPU, memory, and etc., and the workspace as well, so the hard disk space as well, so like a file system, so that instead of running everything on a Jenkins master, we can run the task on the remote machine, that's called an agent. Okay, so how it looks practically, so if I will show you that one now. So if you take, I have a Jenkins master and the agent can be anything. It can be a Linux, it can be a Windows, anything. And if you want to establish a connection between the master and the agent, you have multiple ways to connect it. So one is JNLP, the other one is the SSH. So now let's move into the prerequisites. So what are the prerequisites for agent? So initially the agent should have JRE installed, that's a Java runtime environment. Another one is SSH or agent port should be enabled. So if you are running Jenkins master to slave communication over SSH port should be enabled, or if you are running via JNLP, then JNLP port should be enabled. So that varies, so based on our requirement. And finally, the agent should be reachable. You should make sure that the agent should be reachable to the master. So you can project it and you can make sure that agent is reachable to master, and then the master can easily connect to the agent. So now coming to the best practices. So if we are connecting to a Linux, so what are the best practices you do? So one is always try to use connection over SSH keys, and next one is avoid using JNLP method from the browser. So what happens when you run a Jenkins agent, or when you create a Jenkins agent on the master, so it creates a JNLP file. Now if you run something from a browser like a JNLP method, then what happens when the system restarts, again you need to rerun the one and you need to reconnect the agent. And finally, please define the tools on the configuration. Okay, let's jump into the practical thing. Now this is my Jenkins, let me log in. So let me show you so what we are talking about. So here if you see create an agent, so if you click on this one, now let me give my first slave or my first agent. Okay. Now let me explain you one by one. So this is the name of the node by which Jenkins registers it, and description, you can give some description like this is my first agent over SSH. So you can give it like this. And next, what are the executables? So what is the capacity of the agent to hold the jobs parallelly? So if I give 4, I can run 4 jobs parallelly. So the remote root directory is something workspace on the remote machine. So we should give some location like something Jenkins can access, and it creates a workspace there. Maybe I will give Jenkins workspace. Okay, and label, this is the important part. So if you are if you are running some job, then you should definitely define this label so that Jenkins job will recognize the agent and then it will run. So let me give the agent label as same thing, my first agent. Now this one uses, how to use this one? Use this node as much as possible. So whenever you run the jobs and if it doesn't find any agent, then it will run on this agent, or only build jobs with label expressions matching this node. So what does it mean? So if you want to use this node, my first agent, you should definitely define the label. And the next one is launch method. There are 3 launch methods right now. So one is launch agent by connecting to master. So this is the JNLP mode that I was explaining earlier. So what does it mean? So it will create a JNLP file. That JNLP file need to be run on the agent on the remote machine, then it will get connected. So how does it look means, if you save this one, I'm not running this one but I'm showing you. So how does it run? So if you see here the launch method, so there are two ways. One is launch method, this is a JNLP file, and this one is directly running on the command line. So this is directly running on command line. So what happens here? So you should have this jar file to be placed on the remote machine if you are running this one, and if you are running this one, this JNLP should be placed there. You can do it in either ways. So you can launch a browser there and you can access this URL and then you can launch it, or you can copy this JNLP file to the remote machine and you can launch it. And this one, you should have this agent.zar on this remote machine, and then you have to run this command on particular location where the agent.zar is located. And here you can run this one also, but these two are same if you see. So here what we are doing, we are writing the secret key over a file and we are referring that file on this command. So both are same. So this is JNLP mode. Now we are not launching in JNLP mode, we are trying to connect over the SSH. So next one is launch agent via execution of command on the master. So what happens here is, from the master you are connecting to the remote machine and then you are launching. So here you should give the command, and that command, what happens, this will copy the agent.zar from the master to the remote machine and then it will run the agent there. And another one is SSH. So you can use this option if you have the SSH credentials, but here we are not using any credentials, we will use it the SSH keys. So to know this one, we should know the host details and the credentials. In credentials we should know the private key and the user. So let me set up the node now. So let me save this one. So I don't want to run now right now, so maybe I will save it. So now the agent is offline because we didn't give any details. Now let's go here. Now this is my Linux machine. So what is the IP address of this machine? iPhone I. So this is IP address. Now let's see whether Java is installed or not. So Java is not installed. Let me install Java. So I already mentioned, so JR is good enough, not needed, the JDK is not needed. Now we are done with this one. So we have installed the GRE. So if you see Java version, so now we can able to run Java command. Now the next one is, we are connecting via SSH. Now we need to install SSH. So let me install SSH now. So this is a Ubuntu machine, so I'm using apt utility. So apt utility is for Ubuntu, and if you are running on a Red Hat, so you should use a em utility, YUM. Okay, now SSH is installed. Now let me enable the SSH now. So now SSH is running. Now out of the requirements, now we have Java and SSH. Now let me create a user by which I can connect from Jenkins master to the agent. Now so I will create a user without password, passwordless user add. Now let me create a directory. Now the username can be anything, so I will use Jenkins user. Now user got created. Now let me go into the user. Okay, now I'm under user. Now what I need to do, I need to create a SSH keys here, SSH keygen. Now the SSH keygen will create a SSH key. Now it has created a SSH key. If you see ls home location, so we have public key and a private key. The first one is a private key, the second one is a public key. So IDRS is a private and IDRSA pub is a public key. Now we need a private key to add the node. So here, so let me give the IP address of the machine, 172.17.0.3. I got an IP address. Now how to connect to this IP address? Let me go and add the credentials. Now here under username password, let me choose this one. Now here let me give some ID for this one, maybe my agent credential. I'm giving a short name, so here I can give my agent credential. Now here what is the username? So we have created Jenkins, and now let me put this option and I will directly add the private key here. Now let me list the private, or let me print the private key. Now I got the private key. Now let me add this private key here. And I will simply add this private key here and add. Now we got a credentials here. Let me choose these credentials. So what is the host key verification strategy means? For example, if any Linux machine is connecting to a remote Linux machine, for the first time it asks for verification strategy. What is a verification strategy? So it will exchange the fingerprints. So that exchanging fingerprints should be happen so that there will be a connection over SSH. So there are 4 ways. At least do a one-time authentication to the agent machine, then the host key gets added, then thereafter we can directly choose this option. And next one is manually provided key verification. Instead of exchanging the private key, the fingerprints, I can manually give it here SSH key. So that we won't do right now. So the next one is manually trust the key verification. So this one is a very good option which Jenkins provides. So for the first time when you connect, it will show you a host key verification here, and you can verify from Jenkins itself. And finally there is a non-verifying key strategy. What does that means? So if you use this option, then you don't bother about the fingerprints, and this might be insecure connection and there might be MITM attack, like man in the middle attack. So better choose this option if you are running from Jenkins Master. Now there is a tool configuration. This is the tool configuration which we use. So these are the node properties. So here if you see, you can add the keys, you can add the location here. If you choose this one, git, and you can add the git location which is actually installed over that machine. If not, you can disable this option. This is optional. So let me save this one. Now what happens? Now we are not done yet. So if you see, if you try to relaunch, there will be a error. If you observe. So here if you see trust SSH key, so it will ask for the trust SSH key. Now key exchange was not finished. So now let's go here and first exchange this key. So now let's go and relaunch again. So what happens now? Here if you see, server rejected the private key. So we are adding the private key, but the server is rejecting. Why? Because the server don't know about these keys. the private key and public key. So now we have to do some sort of setup here, like the server should know that ID RSA is a actual private key of this particular mission. So to do so, what we need to do is we need to create our authorized keys, and we need to add the public key inside the authorized key. Let me take you there. SSH so if you see here, I have the public key here. Now what I will do is, if you list out here, I mean if you print this one, so we have this public key. Now this mission should know this key is a valid one. So for that one, what I will do is I will create, or I will directly add a authorized keys. Now cat id rsa dot pub into authorized keys, AUTHORIZED dot underscore keys. So what is the SSH? These all connections I will explain on next video. Now what happened, we have added the authorized keys here. If you see, no, we got the authorized keys. Now let me try to relaunch again. Now launch agent. So if you see, now it got connected. Now this is a Unix mission and shows SSH key host match seen previously from this host. If you see, now we got agent connected. And how do we test this one? Let me create a simple job here, maybe my first job. Now let me take a pipeline, because nowadays we frequently use this pipeline job or multi-branch pipeline job. So let me go here, and this is my test job to check agent connection. I go down. Now I can use this one, maybe simple hello world. Now agent, if you see this one, agent any, let me put this as a label. Now what is the agent name we have given? Let me go to the tab and let me check here. What is the agent name we have given? Not this name. This name is the name by which we can see, but this is the actual label name. You can copy it from here, or you can directly go here and you can copy that one, like this one. This is the label name. You can give multiple labels also. So this is not limited to only one name, but you can give multiple agents names, label names. So if you go here, now let's save it. Now let me run this one. If you go here, now it will try to connect to the agent machine and it will run this one. So now what happened, we have given this home Jenkins workspace as a workspace directory, and there inside it will create a workspace and it will create each and every directory for each and every job. So it will connect in this way, and the connection is secured. So we are not using any username passwords, we are using the keys, and that keys also we are adding over the Jenkins. And this username is a passwordless username, so we don't have any password for this username, and from outside also I cannot access this mission via this user. So now we are successfully connected SSH over this agent. Thanks for watching the video.